Hello, my name's Fred McNeil, and you're watching QAC TV 7. Thank you for joining us, and the show you're watching today is called Fireside Chat. And what we do in this show, we bring individuals in, elected officials, people who have jobs that affect your life, and let them come in and do two things. One, who are they, where they grew up, you get to know them. It's nice to have a face and a name and realize, hey, maybe they went to the same high school or like the same sports. And usually the second part of the show, they talk about what their job is and how they serve the community. I'm delighted to have my neighbor and now a good friend, Tim McCluskey. Tim, thank you for joining us.
Fred, thank you so much.
And
it's
he's
a pleasure.
town commissioner for the town of Centerville. We've had all the county commissioners. We're getting all the county department heads, and you're our first elected town official. And congratulations, by the way. Are you officially reelected, or what's your status now?
Well, you know, I've served for 6 years now. I'm currently the vice president of the town council of Centerville, and this year our charter changed last year. Over the past couple of years, we haven't had any opposition or any challengers to the election, so we decided that we were going to change the charter to make it so that if there's no challenger, we would just cancel the election.
Save money.
Our charter does not allow for write-in candidates, so it was saving money and saving time. And so this year, I was the only candidate, and I'll be certified tonight. We'll have a reorg in April, and then I'll start my third three-year term.
Very good, and congratulations.
Thank
That's
you,
great.
I appreciate it.
Tim, now let's start out. Where are you from? Are you a Marylander? Or,
no, you know, I was born and grew up in New Jersey, in northern New Jersey, in Morris County, about a half an hour from New York City. My family has long roots going back there. I went to the same high school that both of my parents went to, that their parents went to, and that their parents went to. So it was a similar town to Centerville, about 5,000 people.
Small New Jersey town, but right outside of New York.
Yeah, yeah. In fact, our house was right on the line, the train line that could take you right into the city.
Good. Okay. Now, brothers and sisters? Or?
I have an older brother. He's 3 years older than I. He actually works here in Maryland as well. And I have a younger sister. She has her family, is in Pennsylvania now.
Okay. Tim, talk about growing up small New Jersey town. Sports guy, movies, stamp collecting. What was young Tim McCluskey doing?
You know, I was...
that you can tell on TV.
Yeah,
right?
so I played Little League like everybody else did. I wasn't really involved in a lot of organized sports. I really enjoyed Little League. I was just not a stellar athlete, so I kind of grew out of it. I was into individual sports. I liked to skateboard when I was a kid.
Okay.
I was really into music, and you know, I really enjoyed the outdoors. I always liked to go fishing and swimming and bicycling and all of those kinds of activities.
Now, when you in high school, so theater or played in a band or that type of stuff?
I didn't do a lot of the organized stuff.
Like
I was
me.
on my own.
I wasn't a big organized.
I have to say, I really regret that now. You know, I'm a joiner now. I really enjoy being involved in organized things. I didn't like doing it when I was a kid, and I regret that.
Yeah, okay.
Well, so I regret it, and I really am pushing my kids towards organized sports and organized activities because I think there's so much to be gotten out of that. Teams and all that kind of stuff. It's
Fun
so
stuff
important
for parents and kids, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Now, a lot of time in New York City or not in New York City?
I spent a lot of time in New York City.
Oh,
you know, being on the train line, I would go to New York City all the time.
Yeah, it's easy to get to.
Yeah, I mean, when I was a kid, you know, there was this place called CBGB's that was open. It was a famous New York City dive place, and they would have all ages shows, music venues, and we would typically go on a Sunday afternoon when we were in high school, and that was a lot of fun.
Okay. Now, so it was easy to get the plays and the museums and all the great cultural things New York City has. Now, a Yankees fan, New York Giants fan, or Jersey Giants?
Growing up, I was a Giants fan.
Okay.
When I moved west after I got out of college and became a Denver Broncos fan. Again, you know, I don't spend my Sundays watching football. I typically have always been outside. But you know, if I have to peg myself, grew up as a Giants fan as opposed to the Jets, the Yankees as opposed to the Mets, and then became a Broncos fan.
Well, let's talk about college. Now, where'd you go to college?
I went to University of Delaware.
Okay, all right.
Right up the street here in Newark, yeah.
All right. Go ahead.
My major, it was a business major.
All right.
I graduated in 1993. And that's kind of where I first found out about the Eastern Shore and the Delmarva Peninsula and really had my first experience of the Chesapeake Bay.
Now, you graduated from Delaware. Now, did you tell me you went west?
I did. You know, I spent 2 years back in New Jersey, starting in my career.
Went back home?
I went back home. Okay. Yep. I actually lived in Hoboken. So you talk about New York City. I lived right across the bridge. And as a young professional, it was a fantastic place to live.
Right?
I mean, it was great. You know, you could go to the city anytime you wanted. You had all the benefits of urban living. And I think for a 21, 22-year-old, it's a fantastic experience. New York City is just a great place. So I did that for 2 years. years, and then decided I needed something different. So I moved out west. I just kind of picked up and went.
Just went?
And
Okay.
moved to Colorado, ended up in Boulder, spent 10 years out there.
Now, what was the original? Just, hey, Boulder is a beautiful place, sounds good? Or?
I had a lot of friends from high school that actually had moved out there and said, why not?
Is Boulder where the University of Colorado is?
It is, yep,
Okay,
yep.
all right, so it's a college town,
college
but a
town.
good-sized town.
Yep.
Skiing or no?
It's very outdoorsy. I mean,
Okay.
it's right on the Front Range, so it's not actually in the mountains, but it's right there. It's the gateway. University of Colorado is there, about 20,000 students. The whole town has about 100,000 or so. So it's
a nice
it's
sized
urban,
town,
but it's
yeah.
it's very outdoorsy. And yeah, I mean, I learned how to ski on the East Coast at places in Pennsylvania, the Poconos.
Little wimpy hills.
But then when you go out west, there's nothing like it. I mean,
Real
yeah,
ski.
yeah.
Now, what was the work? You eventually found work in Colorado?
I did. I when I got out of college, I got a job as a headhunter, a recruiter. So
Okay.
my job is to go and find people work. So when I went from New Jersey to Colorado, I started my own business, my own headhunting business.
Okay.
And it was during the mid '90s when everybody was hiring. It was the
was the
tech
boom.
boom.
The whole country was
I mean, it was
booming,
the tech
right?
boom,
Yeah.
and I couldn't hire people fast enough. It was a fantastic
And plus,
time.
Colorado was a hot spot, right?
Yep.
I mean, the glow of California dimmed a little bit in Colorado. The skiing, the great environment,
Mm-hmm.
right, was kind of nice. So you were there 10 years.
I was, yeah. In fact, I met my wife out there. She's actually
Is she
from
a
New
local?
Jersey.
Oh, okay.
She's from New Jersey as well.
Jersey folks in
It worked
there's a
out well.
Springsteen song here
Exactly.
somewhere,
She
right?
was from South Jersey, and I was from North Jersey, and we met out west. And yeah,
And she was just working out there too.
she was. She did basically the same thing. She had graduated from college. She went to American University. She graduated from college. A couple of friends of hers were moving out west, and she's like, "Why not? Let me try it."
A couple Jersey kids in Colorado. Okay.
Absolutely.
Now, the whole time in Colorado was running your own business? Is that what
Correct.
you did? Okay. All right.
Yep.
Now, what got you back?
Well, so, I met my wife, we got married, we started having kids. Most of my family was still back here, was still
needed
back
some
in
support
New Jersey.
system,
And so every vacation that we would have, we found ourselves, let's get on a plane and come back to New Jersey, let's get on a plane and come back east. And eventually we wanted to settle down in a smaller town. We liked the East Coast. We didn't want to live in New Jersey.
Okay.
We just, we wanted to be somewhere else. Knowing that I went to school in Newark, she went to school in D.C. She fell in love with the D.C. culture and everything that was there.
Okay.
We figured, hey, let's try
Someplace close.
Maryland.
Okay,
Yeah, and because my business was all over the telephone and all over the internet, it really didn't matter where I was. I mean, I had
work
clients.
out of the house with the computers.
Yeah, I had clients all over the country. So as long as I could get on the phone, get the internet access, and be close enough to an airport if I needed to fly, I could live anywhere.
Amen.
And so we found Centerville, we found Queen Anne's County, and we weren't even really kind of looking for it.
Did you know anybody or just
We
just
didn't.
luck? Yeah.
We actually flew out here for a wedding, and we decided let's take a week, and we're going to go up and down the Eastern Shore and let's just see. Let's just see what we could do.
What you like.
We're not moving. Let's just see.
Yeah.
And we found Centerville. We found the house that we ended up buying, and just
Okay.
kind of fell in love with it.
All right, and now you run your own business out of
Correct.
your home. Same
Yep.
type of business.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
How are we doing? Are we coming back at all?
Yeah, things are great. My business was affected by the recession, much like any other business.
Sure.
Now, in my business, there's always hiring going on. The good people are always hard to find.
Sure.
So things have been slow. I would say probably from 2010 to 2012, but they're really ramping up.
Beginning to come back.
2015 is a banner year. It
Well, it's
really,
a good
really
year.
is. Yeah.
So you're running your own business. Is the missus working too, or a full-time mom?
She works half time. She works.
She's up in the shopping center.
No, you know what?
Oh, no.
She started a job as a development assistant over at Atkins Arboretum. So her
good
job
for her.
now is to help bring awareness and bring in donations to Atkins Arboretum, and it's a fantastic place. I mean, Atkins is
And
beautiful.
am I right? 2 kids or
Three kids.
3 kids. That's right. Okay, and they're always sledding down hills.
Absolutely. I have 3 daughters. They're in fact, my oldest just turned 12 yesterday.
All right. Oh Lord, the gray hairs start now. I'm going to warn you, Tim. Teenagers,
Yep,
right?
yep.
Okay.
So I mean, they're great kids. They all play soccer. They're all really involved in everything, and it's fantastic to watch them grow. I say that my oldest is 12. I feel so old now, but
Oh,
you
hey,
know.
and they're going to go from 12 to 20 in a flip of the coin. It's scary.
Yeah.
Now, how do we get involved with politics? Just always interested in politics, or just
I've always been interested in it. You know, growing up, we always had a conversation around the dinner table. Now, where I grew up, it was conservative Republican, and I can remember my parents saying how great Richard Nixon was until he wasn't, right? And then as I got older, we grew up and it was a Reagan household. So we just always talked politics. My parents were always involved in local politics. My dad actually served on the local town council.
So he was a town commissioner in New Jersey?
Yep, yep. And in fact, my mother is now as well. She's serving in her, I think, 14th or 15th year on the town council where I grew up in the same kind of place.
It's funny, we had Wheeler Baker on yesterday, who at one point was Delegate Baker. He dropped in the conversation. I didn't know. His dad was a delegate, you know. So politics is like everything, right? It gets in your blood and you're in trouble, right?
Absolutely.
Which is a good thing. And so your mom served how many terms?
She's in, I think, her 4th or 5th term right now, and she's still an elected official.
Okay, so you had this background, and what happened? Was there an issue in Centerville, or you just decided, you know, I'm going to run for town commissioner?
You know, when we got here, I wanted to get involved. We had basically, as I said, moved here not knowing anybody. We didn't know anything about the Eastern
house
Shore.
on the wharf is where you've always been. Okay.
Yep. And so we moved here, and I wanted to get involved and wanted to start meeting people, and figured local issues are good things to see. Back in those days, the wharf there was controversy over at the wharf. There was a very intense condominium development that was being proposed in there. And I figured, you know, I moved here because I wanted to help the Bay, I wanted to get involved in the environment, and, you know, here's a kind of a threat that is
you
coming.
Want a condo, staring into the condo every morning.
You know, I don't mind the development, I just think that it wasn't necessarily appropriate for there. There could have been other uses.
So that issue kind of got you...
It did, and I started just going to council meetings. I started going to planning commission meetings, and just started to get involved. And I was here not even a year, just over a year, and I was appointed to the local planning commission, the town planning commission.
You got your foot in the door a little bit, and then decided, how many years later to run for
It was 2 years.
2 years later, so you didn't waste any time.
Well, you know, when I jumped in, I really jumped in. It was during the time that the town was going through the comprehensive, the comp plan, redoing the comp plan. So I got to be a part of that, and then see the process of going from, you know, initially starting it to actually completing it and getting it passed. Yeah.
Now tell me, what's it like being a town commissioner? I mean, how often do you meet, and I mean, what are you doing?
We typically have meetings twice a month. The first and third Thursdays, usually they start at 7 o'clock, a couple of hours. I love it. I mean, I love the minutia of policy. I love the big picture.
You like small government, managing small government.
Yeah, and the thing I really like is I like being the one that makes a difference. You know, big government, the federal government, it really affects our lives, right? But knowing that I'm going to make sure that the garbage gets picked up once a week, that's what really affects people every week. You know?
Let's put a plug
and if it doesn't get picked up, that's a problem.
One of the things we talked about before we went on, you wish more people would come to the town meetings. Make a little plug. So you meet twice a month.
Twice a month.
Still here in the Liberty Building?
It is, yep. It's right upstairs. In fact, we have a meeting tonight. Tonight's meeting is actually down at the Symphony Village Clubhouse. So once a year, we go down to the Symphony Village. It's our best attended meeting. And we, you know, present what we've done, take questions, etc. So we have meetings upstairs in the Liberty Building, 7 o'clock on first and third Thursdays. We don't get a lot of people to come.
Thursdays, 7 o'clock, normally at the Liberty Building, which is where the town commissioners meet, right? Okay.
Absolutely. And you know, we're really focusing on things that affect people's lives, right? I mean, infrastructure.
Well, water. You and I were laughing on before about my new shower head.
Exactly.
Hey, that water bill, or the trash on Wednesdays. And I mean, one of the biggest topics in Centerville Wednesday, did you get your trash out? It sounds silly, but when that snow and rain and sleet and holidays come, it becomes an issue. Then it's interesting.
It's very easy to do nothing, right? It's very easy to just say, we're not going to fix the roads, we're not going to worry about it. This council has been very proactive in trying to get things done, trying to fix the roads. So, you know, roads, just pave the roads. It seems like it's a simple thing. It's not. I mean, it's complicated. There are so many rules and regulations these days. Everything has to be done according to certain codes. And when you're going to dig up a road, well, what about all the infrastructure that's underneath that?
We found out, was it
Broadway.
This year, Broadway, what looked like a simple project, all of a sudden, every time you went a little bit deeper, there was another pipe or something we had to address, and you guys did fine.
Yeah.
But you do, I mean, this is real important. You and the other town commissioners, you'd like people to come out.
Absolutely.
And there is a situation, or there is a time when they can speak on the agenda. I assume they sign in as much
absolutely.
as ever. And you guys helped us out with a memorial for a former educator. I found your ears were open, you were listening, you were cooperative, and you got us through the process, so we did it correctly. So, folks, attend the town meetings, because like Tim is saying, it affects your life.
Right.
I mean, these little things.
We've had a couple of things that have come up recently that were citizen-sponsored or citizen-driven. A local contractor was frustrated that he couldn't put his sign out in front when he was putting on a new roof or doing some work, and so we were able to work through how to make an ordinance to allow that to happen.
Okay.
Another one was they wanted to open up an adult daycare. In fact, there's a grand opening tonight,
Which my mom attends, and it's wonderful. We appreciate you guys
it's fantastic.
doing it. It's great.
But according to the zoning code, it wasn't allowed at the time. So we worked through and we made that happen. So now, with all the cuts that the county has had with the elderly, this is something now that gets the elderly out.
12 senior citizens, I know, my mom included, they have a safe place to go, and they're really treated very well.
Absolutely.
Now, what are kind of the big issues for a town commissioner? Does Centerville have, big issues, that red flags waving you got to get taken care of? Or?
Infrastructure is always a big one. We over the past couple of years,
all that good stuff,
over the past couple of years, we did a comprehensive look at our water and sewer and what's in the ground, how old it is, what are we going to need to have for the next 10 to 20 years as we start to grow. And we also wanted to look at our rates, and that was one actually that we just changed over the past 12 months. This has taken us about 2 years to look at. Because it's so many different levers that you can pull. It's not, no. And so we wanted to make it much more on a consumption basis. So if you use the water, you should be paying for it.
Yeah.
And as you talk about shower heads and whatnot, the more you use, the more you should pay. I have 3 kids, and my wife and I, we use a lot of water.
Yeah.
Whereas a solo individual probably doesn't use as much, and therefore they shouldn't have to pay as much. So, one of the big things we've been looking at is infrastructure, planning for the future, and planning for our future growth. The other big thing is economic development. That's a big push in the county now as well. It's something that we've been working on for the past several years.
Get businesses in the town.
Get businesses in the town, and not just, we would like to have this. It's, can we actually sustain this? Right. And what are the businesses that we want to try to attract? And therefore, can we actually attract them? Some of these big companies that are out there, they know what the demographics are. They know what they have.
Yeah, I wish they would,
but they might. But we don't necessarily have the resources to say, here's exactly what we have. We were fortunate enough to get a couple of grants recently where we've brought in individuals, experts who are going to look at the downtown specific area, and then Centerville and greater Centerville in general, and
help you with the planning.
Help us with the planning.
Well, great, great. Now, let me ask Tim. Since I've been here, and we've been here about 40 years, Symphony Village and Northbrook have just totally changed their town. Now, for the better. I'm not looking. The individuals that live there have contributed so much to our community, and now we're looking at a new county office building, perhaps a Y out by the high school, and growth out there. Where do you see the growth? You mentioned growth. Is there a plan or a theory where, if you had a crystal ball, what are you going to say, Fred? Here's the next, and we got a new courthouse coming.
So I like the growth that we've had. I think that Centerville for the longest time never grew, and then all of a sudden we have 2 major subdivisions at the north and south end of the town, which I think are also great. And in fact, I was looking at some numbers the other day. Northbrook, I think, is about 88% built out. Total is going to be about 430 houses. Symphony Village, I think, is about 81%. They're going to be almost 400. So that's a major impact.
Change the whole town.
Absolutely. And so we now have this county office building coming in. We have potentially a YMCA, which I really am hopeful for. That will also bring in additional people to town. And if you were going to look at the crystal ball of where we should grow, our comp plan says we should go to the east of there. To the east of 304. We've got the high school out there. There's a lot of vacant land that's out there. The state highway is now building an overpass at 301 and 304, so that will naturally make it easier. But it all depends on what the private developer would want to do, what a private developer would want to do. If that's where our comp plan says we should grow and it's the most natural progression, if a developer on a different tract of land that says we should bring them in, that may be where we would go instead.
What they say. Okay. How about, if you're, as a town, if you had a magic wand, or I wish I could give you one, but I can't, what would you like to, I mean, what would be number one on your list? More businesses or more housing or a combination thereof? I mean, do you have a preference about?
I would love to see more businesses.
Okay.
We've got if you were to look at what our base is, we've got a lot of residential. We don't have as many of the businesses. I would love to see some businesses.
Okay.
I would love to see some good paying jobs. So you talk about a magic wand or a crystal ball.
Yeah.
I don't have the crystal ball to say this is what we would need, but high tech jobs are great. The workforce is changing. I can work from home. Sure. Many people can work from home.
More and more people are.
More and more people can work from home, and more people are telecommuting now. And so building a giant building may not necessarily be the right way to go about it. But I think if we could get more businesses in here, that would certainly be helpful.
I mean, it seems like the town is going to be very interesting if we get the new courthouse. We're going to get it. When we get the new courthouse, the whole downtown area is going to change, right? And then if we get out by the high school, a county office, it's going to be it's going to be interesting. Traffic flows. Well, there's a question. Let me ask you. Now, this is an old guy. 213 between about 4 and say 6, coming in from 30150, all right, is now backing up. I mean, are there thoughts to bypasses? I mean, you talk about growth. Is that not going to happen? Might happen, or just an old man's? Hey, Fred.
I don't know where the bypass would go.
Yeah, and that's okay.
There is a plan for Taylor Mill. So if you come in down by Symphony Village, at some point there was an old washed out bridge down there. Right. So to rebuild that bridge and then come up through where the YMCA would be, that'd be a fantastic bypass. You could actually get to the high school there pretty easily. There's not a planned bypass anywhere else around. One of the biggest complaints we get is speeding. And when there's traffic, there's not as much speeding.
Look at it. I might be the only guy in town. I'm glad you have those little silver boxes up, because I see the way people travel in this town. And look, if you're speeding, I'm sorry, you get a ticket. I mean, I don't buy this revenue stuff. Hey, if you're speeding, slow down.
Yep.
And how's that work?
It's actually working out great. We do get a couple of complaints. Some people aren't happy. It's usually because when they find out
they get a
ticket. So is it perfect? It's not. But by and large, people that talk to me about it are very happy about it.
I mean, I think just for the children and safety, especially out by the Acme in that area, and I know in Chesterfield Ave, and people are zipping into town, and all of a sudden, oh wow, I got to slow down. It's 25.
We're the county seat, right? And so we have about 5,000 people that live in this town. Our population triples during the day.
Every day. With
the schools that come in, with people that go at the courthouse, to the banks, et cetera. It triples every day. And so slow down. You should be going slow.
I think it's a good one. Now, I think another thing you guys do well, we talk about maintenance of the infrastructure. We have a police department that does a great job. I mean, I think Charlie Rhodes and that gang just do a terrific job, all right? And that's a good, what's the total workforce for the town? If we took everybody in, roughly.
About 29 or 30 employees.
29, 30, okay. And the police, a good chunk of that, but it makes it a very secure town.
It does.
Making sure that people aren't breaking into houses or the speeding thing. And they do a great job.
They do a great job. It's a 24/7 police force. I have all the faith in the world in our chief, Charlie. He's been here 6 years now. He does a great job. He has a lifetime of experience in management and actually in enforcement. He came from the Natural Resources Police, and he's well-liked. He's a professional. He knows it, and all of our officers are top-notch.
Now, how about the town? I know we're going to have somebody else come in and talk about it. There's a survey going on. There's been yellows. Tell us a little bit about that.
So that's the Economic Development Survey. That's one of the two. This is the one that really is focusing in on Main Street. So, we do have a new courthouse coming in. There's been issues with empty storefronts downtown. What are some of the things we want to do? What can the town do to help, right? I mean, government is somewhat limited in what we can do. What are some of the things that the town can do? What are some of the perceptions that the people do, that the people have to making this a better town? And what would you like to see in Main Street?
And you're asking the citizens of the town to give you input. Then you're going to get all the data, and someone will come on the show and share that with the public, and then you guys can make better and well-informed decisions.
Yeah, and it's really been very well received. I think we've gotten over 1,000 responses already.
It's a great idea. I mean, I think it's terrific. 1,000 already. Now, when is the ending date on that?
I think it's about another week or so. So I think the end of March.
Okay, so before April Fool's Day, that's if you have a chance, and you can do that by computer and or telephone, or is it just
it's just by computer. It's CentervilleSurvey.com.
Okay, good. Before we go, we got a couple of minutes. My favorite area, the wharf area. I think you guys have done a great job. I mean, my morning walks are through the town wharf. my favorite boardwalk, better than Ocean City, all right? Because we have heron, we have all types of animals. Any more future plans for the wharf area? Or are we on?
We do. You know, when we initially built that out, we built it out based on just the perimeter. The focus was, if you build it, hopefully they will come. And so build the exterior, and then the rest of the plans, the interior, will kind of dictate themselves. We had a grant last year that helped us with a concept plan. And so we're looking at that. Nothing is set in stone yet, obviously, but what we've looked at is having some kind of a pavilion down there, similar to the Wilmer Pavilion up in Chestertown, making it available for festivals, making it available perhaps for weddings as well. It's a beautiful vista.
Site.
It'd be great.
I thought what you did, I mean, I apologize for interrupting, that movie night, that was a great night. I was there, and Mother Nature threw us a curveball a little bit, but it was a great night,
It was. You know, we had several hundred people there. It came together fantastic. We worked very well with the county. The county's got this great big, screen that they set up. It's a blow-up screen. We had a fishing contest that afternoon as well. So many kids who've never fished before can go out there.
Clubs and organizations, I think, selling soft drinks or food or something. It was great.
And it was great. And the movie went off well. Obviously, when the thunder came,
all of a sudden, I saw you with the mic. I think we better go inside.
But you know what? It actually worked out really well, because the town owns the building next door in the big warehouse where Big B Short Performance is. They let us come inside, so we were able to end up finishing the movie inside, and it got a lot of people the opportunity to see.
Is that planned again for this year? Are you going to do
We haven't planned anything as of yet. That came together pretty fast. One of the problems with doing it in the summer that I see is it gets dark so late that it's tough to start a kids movie at 9 o'clock. So I think the fall was a fantastic time to do it.
But I said, please, one vote from this citizen, please do that again.
It was great.
It was a good job.
To me, that's kind of what local government is about, is doing these little things that are great for families to come to and have a good time.
Well, I think you guys have done a great job. You mentioned Bigby's, and we do it very quickly. I mean, my Sunday morning and Saturday morning walks, except for fishermen, the wharf area usually was empty. But now, all these moms and dads going in there for recreational activities. I mean, all of a sudden that wharf area is a lot. Even the cold January and February days, those pitching machines or soccer, whatever they're doing, they were working. That was a great move.
It's the comp plan talks about complementary businesses that are down there. So the wharf area is very heavily used in boating in the summertime, but there's hardly anybody that's down there in the wintertime. Now the Big B does baseball, softball, lacrosse, soccer, and the training for those sports are all in the wintertime. So the parking lot and the facility is packed in the winter, and it's not as much impact in the summer.
Oh, I think it's great. And like I said, now my fishermen are beginning to come out a little bit, but you hear the crack of the bat, or like you said, the kids in there yelling. It's a great thing. Well, Tim, look at our time's just about up. Thanks for being with us. All right, now do me a favor. Encourage your other town commissioners. Say, Fred, come on, get on Fred's show and let's brag about this town, all right, as we will other towns, all right? So thanks again for coming, and thank you for watching QAC TV 7. You've been watching Fireside Chat. We've had Centerville Town Commissioner Tim McCluskey bragging a little bit about the town, which we should, all right? It's my hometown, and it's a great place to be. So my time's up. Thank you for your time, and we'll see you next time.